Ladies and gentlemen, this is David Mirikitani alongside one of the smartest guys I know in wrestling, my good buddy Marcus Hoehn. Marcus, we are about to do Mules with Marcus and Meerkat Part 2 this coming Friday night for the Iowa at Penn State duel. First of all, buddy, good to see you, man.
Likewise, I got to take issue with a couple of those statements. Number one, you said one of the smartest guys you know. I thought there was somebody else that jumped on the line for a minute. I was like, "Where?"
You got my dad was on the line with
we got
us?
somebody else in here. Then you say that I'm smart, but then you said that I agreed to do this again. So
I thought this was at least half your idea.
it was fun. It was fun. But as we were just talking before we started recording, I have some private lessons on Saturday morning after this duel. So you cannot you can't roofie my drink again.
You can pour. I'll let you pour, sir.
I'm just joking. I don't blame anybody. It's
Okay.
I'm a grown man. I'm responsible for myself.
That's right. So speaking of grown men, we've got a grown man duel on Friday night.
Yeah, big deal. I think obviously one of the premier matchups, if not the premier matchup, probably the premier matchup is going to be the grown men.
Yeah. 1 versus 2, right? Oh, yeah. Yes, we can start it that way, but it's Iowa, who's ranked number 2, coming off a big win against Nebraska versus Penn State, ranked number 1, who beat Michigan 8 out of 10 matches. And Levi Haynes had a huge win in that against Michigan. So Facundo had a big win. Haynes beats Luan. Facundo beats Amin. And Penn State does what Penn State does, which is they seem to get better during the season. You know, Bartlett's at a weight where he's a national contender. But let's just get to it. Let's start out with you and me are going to enter our picks on the website you're looking at right now, Fantasy Grade, all one word, grade.com. It's free to get an account. You just go to the contest, and they have a season-long contest, but they have an individual duel contest. And you can enter. You can win prizes. There's no entry fee, so enter. And I think you and I decided that you and I are both going to enter. And if, which is probably doubtful, you'll probably go 10 for 10. But if anybody beats you, that of the people that beat you, that if they DM you on any of your social medias, that we will do a drawing and someone will get a free Thoroughbred Wrestling Academy hat. Is that correct?
Yeah, we can do one like this. I think this one's pretty sweet, but we have this one in multiple colors, all black. You can get an army green one, pretty sweet. But we will pick somebody that beats me if anyone beats me, which is likely.
If no one beats you,
I'm terrible at
I'm
picks.
sure someone will beat me. So we'll make sure there's a winner.
I follow the me and Chael Sonnen come from the same prediction line, which is like whatever I say, pick the opposite, and then you're good to go.
Okay, so I played in this contest, and here's how it works, so people understand. It's a confidence pool. So you pick all 10 matches, and then the most you're confident in, 10 down the least is 1. But you also pick whether it's a 3, 4, 5, or 6 point team score, and then you pick the team winner, the team loser, closest to, all that stuff. I went 10 for 10 on the Iowa-Nebraska duel and took 6th. So I got no, it's not nice. I should have taken first.
Right. I'm saying that's something. I get you got all the picks right, but you just didn't have you didn't put the points on the right people.
Yep. In the season-long contest, I'm second right now. There's a guy out there named Parchi Pile who is leading the way, but I'm coming for you, bro. Good. It's all good fun, but I'm coming for it. You know that.
What is it? Parchi Pile?
Parchypyle. Maybe it's Christian Piles. I don't know if it's Christian Piles. Identify yourself. So if you're not, you should
listen here, Parchy.
No, you should claim it. You're winning. Like always claim to be a winner.
Yeah, but Dave's coming for you, Parchy, so you better watch your back.
I'm coming for it. So all right, let's get into it. They always start this duel at 125. So it's Spencer Lee versus Gary Steen. You want the evens or the odds on going first?
Well, if I get to pick, I'm going to take the odds because I'm going to take this choice.
No, I mean, I mean, I'm just saying who announces their pick first.
Right. I'm saying I feel confident in this one. I can lead with this one. I don't have to wait to hear your answer.
Go ahead. What do you got?
I'll take Spencer Lee pinning anybody that Penn State can pull together.
Yes.
Anybody that they put out there is going to get pinned. I feel like at this point.
Yes. He's on a roll. So we both have Iowa up 6-0. At 133, it's Roman Bravo Young against either Brody Teske or Colin Shriver. I'm going to go RBY Major.
That's my pick as well. That you stole it from me. I always feel like when I agree that it's like this is hesitation of just disagree for the content.
Don't disagree.
Too much on the line right now. Too much.
Here we go. No, here's one we might
$30
disagree.
hat right here.
We might disagree. Real Woods, Bo Bartlett.
Okay, so this was my upset pick.
So you're going Bo.
I'm going Bo Bartlett by decision.
Okay, so here's the argument for Bo Bartlett. Even in the matches that Real Woods has won against good guys, he's losing the takedown battle. So he lost the takedown battles to Swiderski 1-0. He lost the takedown battle to Brock Hardy 2-0. He got reversals and back points. So what's interesting is Penn State adjusts as well as anybody in the country. Like Nick Lee lost to Jay Dyerman in the Big Tens, beats him in the NCAA finals. Part of me wonders if they try to adjust the first time, knowing they're probably going to have 2 more cracks at him, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, hey, you're going to probably see him in the Big Tens. Hopefully we see him in NCAAs. Or do you just wrestle him straight, try to ride him the first time? Maybe you get reversed, maybe you lose. So I will go Iowa by decision. Now, again, I may switch this on this is probably my 1-point confidence pick. So, all right.
I can get down with that one, with that idea of saving this as your low confidence pick. It'll probably be towards the end of mine. But I think that a similar but a slightly different angle is that I just look at Penn State does an excellent job of developing these guys. They're getting really good recruits, don't get me wrong. But there's a lot of people getting good recruits that aren't consistently putting them as number 1 guys in the country year after year. And Bartlett, is being in what I believe this is his 2nd year in the lineup, right?
3rd year, but first year at 141.
Okay. So he's, I think that they've had enough time with him to really develop him. And I think that he's going to be one of those guys either this year or within the next year that's going to be one of those like foregone conclusion number 1s, like some of the other guys we're talking about.
I couldn't agree with you more about the Penn State development part of your sentence. I think he's gotten better, but I also think he's wrestling guys 8 pounds lighter, and he was a small 49, and now he's wrestling 41. And I just think the whole thing, you know how it is. You were really good. You were a 41. So if I make you wrestle 49 and you and Bartlett are built similarly, you're short and stocky and like late.
How tall is he?
I think he's 3'9", like you and me. So,
so he's got a couple inches on me. So,
but my point, right? Like when you move up in weight, the taller guys give us even more trouble. So anyway, that
was exactly a conversation I had with somebody probably just a couple weeks ago. Just that a lot of people talk about the weight when you change weights, but really for someone like me, when I filled in for one year when I was not the starter, Josh Wagner was our starter at 149, and he had a rib pop out, and I had to fill in for him at 49 for a couple weeks. And the leverage was just the length and leverage at that weight was just too much to overcome. They felt a lot stronger, but it was just length and leverage that was most of it.
Yeah, and it's harder on bottom because these guys are taller.
That's for sure.
It's a much more difficult jigsaw puzzle to figure out.
Absolutely.
49, Van Ness, Murin. I feel like I'm going to pick a couple other Penn State upsets, so I'll take Murin here by decision.
Yeah, this is another one I could see an upset. I wouldn't be super surprised, but I can't pick all of them upsets because if I step back and look at the odds of that many upsets is unlikely. But the odds of a couple of these being upsets, I'm pretty confident in that. It's just which one will they be? So I'll stick with Murin on this one by a decision.
Okay. Kobe Seabrook from Iowa against Levi Haynes. So here's the thing. Levi Haynes has wrestled in his maximum number of allotted dates to keep his red shirt. So if he wrestles in this meet, he's coming out of red shirt. It sure seems like it. I've had conversations with really smart people. The argument for him wrestling is it's a tremendously open weight. There's no returning finalist or champion. He just beat Will Lewan, who was like the preseason number 2 or 3 guy. And opportunities are scarce, wrestle him while he's good. The argument for redshirting him is Penn State's probably going to win nationals without him. And hey, if we think he can be even better next year, if you look at the top 15 157s, like 12 of them are seniors. The only guy coming back that isn't in there now is Teamer. So he'd immediately be like a top 4 or 5 guy. Let's assume he wrestles. Okay. Because if he wrestles, let's put it this way. If they wrestle Barraclaw, I think we'd both pick Seabrook. Okay. Yep. So this is odds. You've got it. Who you got?
If he wrestles, I'm going with Hoehn for sure. And I think that he will wrestle. I think that there's one word that I think is going to be the issue. And that is what you said, is that Penn State is probably going to win without him. I think that word is enough to warrant him wrestling, because I just don't think, if you have the chance to win a national title, I think you do what you can within your power to get it done. And I don't know that I think that we're getting in that home stretch, but there's a lot that can still happen between now and then. And obviously you could always still pull him. So this is not like if he doesn't wrestle, he's not going to wrestle. That doesn't necessarily mean that. But at the same time, if they can solidify a dual win against Iowa, and they already knew that they're going to put him in the postseason, then I would think he's going to wrestle. So I think he wrestles, and I think he wins a decision against Seabrook. And I think that we're going to see another little video clip of who was it? Nolf going wild in the stands after his win.
David Taylor too.
Taylor, that's who it was. I'm sorry. I knew it was one of the legends out of Penn State. I could not remember which dominator it was celebrating. But yeah, David Taylor was over in the stands going wild. So I think we're going to see that again.
David Taylor doesn't remember what it's like at all to be 149-ish, 157-ish as a skinny true freshman. So there's no frame of reference there. All right. 165 is Facundo versus Kennedy. Who's number one? Repeat. I really like the way Facundo's wrestling right now, coming off the win against Cam Amin, so I'll take him by decision.
So you took Facundo?
Yeah.
I'm going to take Kennedy. I think he looked good this week.
Okay.
He's pretty solid. So I'll take Kennedy on that one.
Okay, 74.
So let's recap real quick. So what do you have the dual score sitting at with your predictions?
Right now, I've got it 12-10 Iowa.
I do too.
Okay.
Is that right?
Yes, because we flip-flop 41 and 65 respectfully.
I got it. Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. 174. This is your pick. Starachi, Nelson Brands. Just go ahead and pick Nelson Brands so I can know.
Well, what I'm looking at is how bad's he going to beat him?
Yeah.
Can Brands slow it down? It's funny, though, because we just did last night at practice, we did a match review, and we did the Starachi match against Rutgers. And no, it was not a close one, but that's not what we were looking for. But so Starachi is close in my mind as to how he was moving and finding angles and clearing ties, constant pressure in his face. And if he can keep that pace up, I don't know that Brands can hang with him. So I'm going to go with a major.
I am as well. No need to even reiterate it. We just agree. Aaron Brooks, Abe Assad. Aaron Brooks says one loss this year to Marcus Coleman at the collegiate duels, but besides that, and has lost to Miles Amin at the Big Tens for the last 2 years. Besides those two matches, he's looked super dominant. He took it to Keckheisen in the All-Star meet. Abe Assad just got pinned by Tyler Dow in a Greco position in the Wisconsin duel, excuse me. That was that, along with two starters sitting out, made that duel look a lot closer than it really was. I'm going to go Brooks, and I'm going to go by big decision, like a 6 or 7 point decision.
I'm going to go with a fall because I haven't seen any pins yet. And I think this is the one. I think Assad's probably in his head a little bit this week. And I think Brooks and the crew over at Penn State are masters of the mind. And I think they're going to figure out how to get in his head and break him. And Brooks is going to catch him in something feet to back, not necessarily a throw like last time, but maybe a double to a Turk or something like that, finishing it off to a claw. And he's going to put him away. And I now have 20-12. So the last two matches, it got out of hand.
Well, If you
For
haven't
me.
followed Penn State for the last 8 years, they're usually pretty good in the upper weights. Okay, so 197 Max Dean against Jacob Warner. I was at this duel last year in Iowa. Max Dean won late, but Jacob Warner was winning for the first six minutes and say 20 seconds or so. So this is your pick. Who do you got here?
I'm going to go Max Dean by decision. I think that maybe the only points Warner's going to score are going to be escapes and a possible ride out.
Well, I would tell you this. Warner took him down last year, so that can certainly happen. I'm not saying you're wrong, but it's certainly a possibility. I'll go Max Dean by decision as well. Now, if you're looking at this video, it says Greg Kirkfleet is ranked number 1. This is because we are doing this on Tuesday. When the rankings come out, he will either be number 2 or number 3 because he lost to Mason Paris. So Paris will be 1, and then it'll be interesting whether they make Kirk or Cassiope 2 or 3. We'll figure out who's 2 or 3 after this duel. So this is my pick. I saw Cassiope beat him last year, and then Kirkfleet's beat him since. I think I want the duel to be close, so I'm going to pick Cassiope.
I'm kind of feeling the same thing. I feel like Cassiope's wrestling very well right now. Excuse me. Just watched an interview with Brands after the duel with Wisconsin, and he was not super pumped and super positive, but he was very positive on Cassiope. He had a lot of good things to say about him. So I feel like he's clicking and humming right now, and I think they're pretty tightly matched. So I'm going to give him the slight advantage as well.
Okay, so to sum this up, we got the dual meet score. I've got my side 3, 6, 10, 13, 16, 20 to 15. I have yours at 3, 9, 13, 17, 20, 23 to 18. Is that what you have it?
I had 15, but I might have missed one in there.
No, I miscounted. You're right, 23, 15.
Yep.
Okay, so basically we are the same, except we have a couple flip-flop at 84. You have the pin, and I have a decision. So that's the difference. But let's talk about Iowa's path to victory. And then I think Penn State's path to victory is pretty clear. We think they're going to win the duel. But here's how Iowa can win the duel, okay? They get a pin at 25, okay? They just get decisioned at 33. They win at 41. Now they're up 6. They win at 49. They're up 9. They get decisioned at 57. They're up 3. I'm sorry, they're up 6 now. They're up 6, okay? Let me just make sure I got this right. Give me a second here.
All good. Yeah, I think that's
So
that's interesting
25.
too, because like you said, the Hoehns and Seabrook one, at the ranking, you're looking at what, 16 and 17. Is that right?
Well, Hoehns will move up though, again, because
but I'm saying just how it is right now, it's kind of deceiving. I feel like is what I'm getting at, is that we're looking at 2 that are evenly matched, but I think Hoehns has the advantage just from a.
Well, Hoehns is coming off a good weekend. Seabrook's coming off a bad weekend. But okay, so Iowa pins at 25. They lose at 33. They win at 41. They win at 49. They lose at 57. Okay. They win at 65. Okay. They can win that match.
Yeah.
They lose at 74. They lose at 84. And that gives them, so now they're plus 3, plus 6, plus 9, plus 9. They're up 3. And they win one of the last 2.
Yeah. And that's giving up no bonus along the way. So that's
okay. So Mark Ostrander and I were talking about this. All right.
Yeah.
Let's say the duel goes 5-5.
Right.
Let's say that Iowa wins 25, 41, 49, 65, and either 97 or heavyweight. None of those are huge stretches, right?
Sure. Yep.
And let's say they get a pin at 25. Now they're at 18. Okay. Mm-hmm. Unless Penn State gets a pin, they got to get to 19.
Right.
They could win 18-18 on a pin. And then it's all these other goofy criteria like near fall points and everything else. Okay. But if they both have 4 decisions and a pin, then it's 18-18. Now, if you say to me, okay, RBY could get a major, sure. Starachi could get a major, sure. Brooks could get a major, sure. They lose 18-18.
Right.
So that's Iowa's path to victory. So if you're watching this from the dual meet perspective, I think Iowa's got to win 41-49.
Well, they're going to have to win definitely some of those toss-up matches. And like we kind of went through, you're looking at basically, they're favored at 41, right? But not by that much. They are favored at 49, but not by that much.
Yeah.
Right. Murin Van Ness. You got to go with Murin a slight edge.
And they're favored at 65.
Yes. But all those are as well just matches that we could easily see going the other way. So that they're just gonna have to get it done. Basically, they have to win the matches that they are favored to win, and on the other side, not giving up any big bonus points. I guess, like to your point, if nobody gets pinned, then they can afford to give up a major, right? Two majors.
3.
Okay, so they can win there, but that's where I guess you're going to have somebody on Penn State's side. If it goes like that, what Penn State's going to be looking to do is put somebody away, right? They're going to have to match a pin. They got to. But
they don't have a lot of pinners besides Max Dean. So, like, you say this, and then let's say that they go Spencer Lee Fall, Roman Bravo Young major, okay, 6-4. Let's say Real Woods wins 9-4. Let's say Murin wins, it's 12-4. Let's say Levi Haynes wins. Let's say they don't wrestle Levi Haynes. If they don't wrestle Levi Haynes, they probably don't win this duel.
Yeah, we're talking about a different scenario altogether. If he's out, that changes everything.
If they wrestle Levi Haynes, probably 12-7. If Patrick Kennedy beats Facundo, now it's 15-7. Okay, say Starachi gets a major, it's 15-11. Brooks gets a major, it's 15-15. Okay, it's 15-15. But now it's 1 pin against 3 majors, so Iowa's winning.
Right.
And then if they can win 97 or heavyweight, it's 18-18.
And they could conceivably win both of those, realistically.
So, yes. I told Mark, I go, Iowa has a path to win 6 matches.
Oh, I believe so. I guess where what you got to look at, in my opinion, is just, and this is zero science. You're the numbers guy looking at the numbers. I'm going off the feel of, what's the vibe in the room after nearly losing 1 to Wisconsin? And I know that they didn't have starters in, right? But you can tell by the interview afterwards, they were not happy with how they wrestled. They were not happy with the performance. They weren't happy with the pace. So is that a kick in the butt and then we're going to see a better version, or are they in a little bit of a slump right now? So
I would argue it's the kick in the butt, because they wrestled great against Nebraska Friday night against a really good Nebraska team. They won 8 out of 10 duels, or matches in the duel, excuse me. And then you and I were texting about the Wisconsin duel, and we both said there was only one upset, which was the Assad match, okay? Right. Because they didn't wrestle 2 starters. Yes. So when you don't wrestle 2 starters and those guys both lose, that's a minimum of a 12-point swing. And then if Assad wins, which he would win that match, that's a 9-point swing because he got pinned. Instead of the duel being tied, you win by 21.
Right.
And so, listen, I know the brands fairly well, and I'm sure they're not going through the math and going, don't worry about it, guys. They're firing them up.
Right.
But it's also Penn State week, right? Like, it's like Michigan, Ohio State in football.
Yeah.
Right.
And you got to assume that they're coming off, like, again, because you're not taking anyone lightly, but it's just the nature of how this thing works. They're peaking for Penn State, I would assume, right? So these last 2 duels, they're tapering, and they're not primed yet. And that's one would think that this week is all going to be that tapering, sharpening, preparing, and for this duel.
Yeah. So here's the other thing: we can get hung up on the dual meet stuff. There's going to be like 10 awesome freaking individual probably 9 matches that are awesome in Spencer Lee. So, and it'll be interesting to see, Spencer just goes straight for the fall, if he just starts working his bar tilt and then goes for the fall late, because I think those guys at Iowa are smart enough to know that 18-18 is a reasonable. If you said what's a reasonable outcome, that could happen.
Yep.
And then that pin is huge. Here's the other crazy thing. Let's say it goes that way. It doesn't even change the rankings that much.
Right.
Like 25 is not an upset. 33 is not an upset. 41 is not an upset. 49 is not an upset. 57 is not an upset. 65 is not an upset. 74 is not an upset. 84 is not an upset. 97 is not an upset. And if Cassiope beat Kirkfleet, that's okay. 3 beat 2, but they might be 2 and 3 the other way. So
Correct.
you could basically just wrestle to your seeds or your rankings, and Iowa can win the duel. And here's the other crazy thing. Let's say Iowa wins the duel. I don't think anybody would pick Iowa to beat Penn State at the Nationals right now.
Yeah, well, I would agree, but I back to the point with if we see Levi Haines in the lineup, I would completely agree. But if we don't, and they're still banking on holding him out, then I got to think there's somewhat of an opening. Not a good chance.
Oh, for sure. 100% for sure if that happens. So, yeah, I don't think there's any doubt that that's the case. So,
well, that's back to my where I guess where I'm arguing is I don't think they have a choice but to pull his red shirt. He's got to be in the lineup if they want to make a statement going into the end of this year, into this season, running into the state tournament, the national tournament. I got too many other things in my fire irons in the fire. I guess I'm too much thinking about all the little kids in the high school. But yeah, heading into the NCAA tournament, if they want to have that momentum and that, and again, not that will be the end all, right? Because I think that if they keep him out and they lose this duel, they can just pull him back in and fire everybody right back up again.
They lost the Big Tens last year.
Right. Yep. That's exactly right.
So, I mean, I'm not saying they don't care. They're just the best team at the country, getting their guys to wrestle the best at those last 3 days in March.
Yeah, they're most likely what we don't have is the situation with every individual. Same like when we're talking about like Iowa, when they sit 2 of their starters, why that is. We can speculate, we can go off of some things that have been said, but we don't really know.
Let's just assume they sat him to sit him. Everybody's healthy, right? I
Sure.
mean, that's just the best way to do this, right? You start figuring other stuff out. It's going to be an awesome duel. And more importantly, you get to listen to Marcus. We're going to pour mules. We're going to whiteboard this. It's going to be awesome. I got a new headset. So we're at Casa de Mirikitani Friday night. We go off air. I got to find out if Marcus is coming over for steaks first or not, but I'm guessing he might. So we will see you guys. Steaks, let's go, bro.
What movie was that?
Iron.
What was that? Do you remember that movie where they said, I think that's something about made a mistake? And she said, did someone say steak? It was, what was the one? Deuce Bigalow. That's what it was.
I don't think I've even seen that movie.
Rob Schneider, Deuce Bigalow, male gigolo. Did someone say steak?
That's funny. Anyway, so Friday night, I'm guessing we'll go on the air around 7 to 7:15. The duel starts at 7:30. So get tuned to Marcus's Rockfin channel, and we will see you guys all in a couple days. Anything before we sign off, Marcus?
Go over to Rockfin, search my name, MarcusHoehn. You will find me, a little cartoon picture of myself, and log in there, and you will find us on Friday night.
See you guys soon.
Peace.